So last, but certainly not least, partly last because he had other things this morning that he was being paid for, so he said that that's probably more important. And we don't pay. I'm meaning to bring that up with you, actually. David is, I was asking David in the break how I should introduce him. And I think even on your programs, it may illustrate to you that David is a bit of a hybrid. David works at the moment at Intel and has worked at Intel for a long time and has lots of interesting things he can tell you about Intel. But David is also moving into the world and has a lot of, already moved into the world really, of mind map training with the ThinkBuzan company. Ashley is down here as well, also from ThinkBuzan. So David is going to talk to us a little bit about mind mapping from a presentations point of view, and I'm sure some of his Intel insights and his New World insights will be included. So David, thank you very much for coming along, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Liam. It's almost 3 o'clock, and that's the time when I typically fall asleep in office because we have a staff meetings at 3 o'clock. So my brain's always switched on. So if you don't mind, you can stand up and stretch a little bit. Feel free, because I do not want to see any sleepy faces today. Because, fantastic, yeah, I love to see that. Good, you can sit down now. So now your brain was refreshed, and I got exactly 3 minutes to get your attention. If I fail that, you fall asleep anyway. Every second, there are 350 presentations around the world. Right now, next second, and so on. The fact is that 95% of them suck. That's the fact. Okay, I admit I was a little bit exaggerating. It's actually 99%. But I'm just a bit nervous because I have a long way to walk here, so I can get much more steps to my Fitbit. But I don't want to make you seasick, so I'd just rather stay close to this notebook. And this is the result. And today I'm so excited because we may together, me and hopefully you, through me, or I through you, we can save some lives today, certainly from the most horrible death. You don't know what's the most horrible death?
Death by, yes.
Yes, it says death by, say it. It's so horrible we can't even say it. It starts with P, it's a PowerPoint. That's why PowerPoint is the most horrible death, because it's slow. You can't escape the room, you know, once the PowerPoint is on it. So it's very painful and very slow and certain. So are you okay to help me with this? Yes, David, we are. Okay, thank you. About myself, thank you, Ryan, for a good try to introduce me. I admit it's quite difficult because I'm kind of all over the place. My name is David Svoboda. If you wonder where the name comes from, it's from Czech Republic. So, and that is the second most common last name in Czech Republic and means freedom. So that was my self-branding now. And I worked for Intel for last about 15 years, which is quite a long time, and I covered different roles from sales, marketing, sales managers, directors, covering customers from Lisbon to Vladivostok in Russia. I typically very quickly bored. I'm very impatient, very fast-paced, and so I changed many roles. Most recently, I was responsible for future products because, you know, to be interested in the future stuff that's typically not on the market, and some of them is quite interesting, like the watch I have on my hands coming on the market next month. I can show you on a break what it does. Actually, it's quite funny. This is my contact. I'm more than happy if you'll follow me. If you want to link with me, you can go to LinkedIn. Not a problem at all. And yeah, that's also me. Do you know Gadget Show? I mean, I don't watch TV, so but some of you from UK know that guy, Jason. And he was so excited about my latest project, which is called Compute Stick, and it's just so small. I mean, that's the actually whole core computer with HDMI. So again, this is coming, I guess, April. But it's so boring for me because it's already too old. But that's the stuff I do. And in my free time, I absolutely love things like live hacking, and I'm so glad to cooperate with lovely people from ThinkBuzan, where's Ashley from, because they do the most beautiful mind map software, which I love to use. Plus, I'm a trainer of different kind of trainings like presentation skills, communication. Best ever now is coming on UK market, End of Procrastination. You will definitely hear about it later this year. And mindfulness, meditation, etc., etc. Now, so let's talk how we can improve our, I think they're after me again, but they still didn't find me. I mean, there are a couple of times running around. What are the most typical mistakes we see in those presentations? The first one is this typical design mistakes, like too many info, unreadable text, small text, missing point, lack of visuals, etc., etc. And yeah, that also describes. That's very actually true. Some people are just so stubborn to change the habits, so and we often are victims of those. Second one is missing flow. What I mean by missing flow is the way how vast majority of presentations are conceived is like this. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm in an open office environment for last 20 years altogether. So typically when you do the new presentation, new deck, you typically get what? You get the old presentation from last year. You open it, you rename it, to this year, and try to recycle as much as possible and mix slides to make it looking catchy and cool and so horrible. And if not, we just open a new file and start filling bullets, and bullets is the worst thing you can do in the world because God's killed kitten for every bullet you do. So that's actually usual start, which is always very wrong start. Why? Because before you actually even open the PowerPoint, before you even think about what kind of software you will use for your presentation, you have to start with ideas. You have to think it over, like how would you want to start, what will be there in the middle, what's the call to action, what's the ending. So if you want to build some story around it, even better. That's all important. And if you miss that, and 99% of the people are missing that, then whatever software you use, you will always fail. And we can start with ideas. This is like what I do, but it's definitely not the only way. Like a brainstorm, put some ideas because they're coming to my mind from different angles. So just put it on a post-it note and put it on a whiteboard and so on and so on. Or if I'm in a mood, I use the mind maps and doing it on a computer, on a paper. So both is actually valid. It's not only those two ways. It's many more, but I'm just showing what I'm using. Now the problem with post-it notes, I mean, it's quite cool, but sometimes I just notice, typically this morning on the way from Swindon, which is a very fantastic place to be, because once you are in Swindon, everywhere you go, it's so beautiful. So I love to be there. On 1 hour train from Swindon to Paddington, I just noticed that actually many people actually do the presentations in a train. And it looks like this. And in such environment, it's quite difficult to put post-it notes, on people. Actually, it's not completely impossible. You can actually do many things with post-it notes. But that's not exactly what we want to do with that. I mean, we want to gather information and put a brainstorm and in the end, hopefully build some presentation. So what I'm doing when I have no place to put post-it notes, and unfortunately always have some kind of iPad or some device or iDevice or Mac, I'm using the iMindMap, which in the latest version of 8.0 is using fantastic view, which is this. You love it, right? This is because it gives you so much space just for your own ideas. It's not cluttered by nothing. So I typically try putting, beginning, middle, end, some kind of frame to my future fantastic presentation, and then I'm trying to brainstorm. So like this is actually based on a real example. So last Monday I was about to present the compute stick concept to our inner sales people, and so I put different operating systems, samples, events, call to action, ecosystem, all this blah blah blah, this marketing. I said, well, it's quite small. How small? Well, went to the shop. I said, it's as small as a Twix. It's exactly the same size as a twig. So I put a picture of the twigs, I put a picture of the proposed package, and so on. So that's actually fantastic because you can brainstorm very quickly on a constrained space, even in a train, you can do that. Then you can put different colors, categorize it, mix it, match it together, and so on, and put it in a groups, so you can just put it what's in the beginning, what's in the middle, what's in the end, and so on. And you agree it looks fantastic, isn't it? It's very cool. So that was actually how can I put my ideas with help of mind mapping software into some form that actually is good foundation for my presentation. But don't forget this third thing. The way, if you want to present, if you want to pass your idea, and that should be actually a goal for every presentation. If you don't want to change world almost with your presentation, then don't bother to present at all. It sounds naive, but in the end, you present because you want to cause change. You want to cause change in people's mind, and consequently, these people should do some added change, and hopefully will change some behavior or change the world. Now, imagine the audience you're presenting to are typically, especially if they are managers, they are coming from meetings to meetings to meetings, and they see daily this kind of presentation in a huge amount. Now, they are just humans, right? So their brain is like switching off. They see just another one. So don't be just another presenter who will come with some kind of ugly layout. And I found out actually on my example that just basically changing the layout from this to mind map, even they got no idea what is mind map, you don't have to even call it mind map, just to change it, draws their attention for about like 5 minutes, and they start listen, and they will basically wake up and they listen to you, and that's already huge win. Of course, if there's also good content on a mind map, that's another bonus. So that basically quickly how my slide would look like when I put all these bullets from this compute stick project, and this is how it looks like when I put it in a mind map. So it's completely different. You can see whole expertise. Whole area from distance. You can see 3 key areas which you want to cover. There are some pictures as well, and even what I like most, you can do the presentation mode, which automatically is leading people focusing, now I want to talk about the market, then we want to talk about, it's like a mini PC category, and so on and so on. It's as big as a twigs, I can actually tailor it the way you want. You can put different content, different pictures. And it just, you can see an audience how people are just following that content. And that's actually what we want in the end. So my last word is please impress your audience with help of mind map, with help of brainstorming, and don't forget to have some fun as well. Thank you very much.